Hi, I'm Sarah Thompson, a 38-year-old marketing executive, and boy, do I have a story to tell you. One about trust, betrayal, and the strength it takes to overcome life's curveballs. 5 years ago, I thought I'd hit the jackpot when I married James. He was charming, successful, and seemed to adore both me and my daughter, Emma. Emma was from my previous marriage, and James brought his son, Tyler, into our new family. I was determined to make it work, treating both kids equally and with all the love I could give. Emma, sweetheart, how about we invite Tyler to join us for movie night? I'd suggest, always trying to bridge the gap between the siblings. Emma would smile and nod eagerly. Can we watch a superhero movie? Tyler likes those. I'd smile back, proud of her efforts. Great idea. Why don't you go ask him? But more often than not, Tyler would shrug and decline. Nah, I'm good. Got plans with my friends. James would always reassure me, wrapping his arm around my shoulders. Sarah, he's a teenager. It's normal for him to want space. I'd nod, burying my doubts. You're right, I just want us all to be close. Things started to change after my parents passed away 2 years ago. They left me a substantial inheritance, and I wanted to use it wisely. James, I think we should set this money aside for Emma's future, I said one evening as we sorted through the paperwork. He nodded, but there was something in his eyes that unsettled me. Of course, but we should think about Tyler too. He's closer to college age. A flicker of unease hit me. Tyler's mom is handling his college fund, remember? That's what we agreed on when we got married. He sighed, a bit too casually. I know, but we should keep our options open. That should have been a red flag. My best friend Olivia had tried to warn me. We were having coffee one afternoon when she broached the subject. Sarah, don't you think James favors Tyler a little too much? She asked gently. I bristled at first. What? No, he loves both kids equally. Olivia raised an eyebrow. Are you sure? I've seen how he is with them. It's different. I brushed it off. Blending families is hard, Liv. We're still figuring it out. But her words lingered, and I nodded as she added, just keep your eyes open. And remember, I'm here if you need me. Over the next few months, a gnawing feeling began to grow. Our finances seemed off. Bills I thought I'd paid showed up as overdue, and our savings were depleting faster than I could explain. James, have you noticed anything strange with our bank statements? I asked one evening. He barely glanced up from his phone. Nope. Everything's fine. Why? I hesitated. I don't know. Something feels off. His eyes finally met mine, his expression unreadable. Sarah, you worry too much. I've got everything under control. I wanted to believe him. But one evening, while going through our joint account, I spotted it. A $5,000 withdrawal I knew I hadn't made. My heart raced as I dug deeper. The more I looked, the worse it got. Multiple large withdrawals, passwords changed without my knowledge. Panic set in. That night, I called Olivia. Liv, I think something's really wrong, I said, my voice trembling. What's going on? She asked, concerned. I spilled everything. The withdrawals, the locked accounts, James's strange behavior. Sarah, this sounds serious. I think you need help. I know a private investigator, Mike Carson. He's discreet and thorough. Want me to give him a call? I hesitated but agreed. A week later, Mike called me to his office. The grim look on his face told me everything. I knew what was coming before Mike even opened his mouth. Mrs. Thompson, I'm afraid I have some bad news, he began. As he laid out his findings, it felt like the ground was crumbling beneath me. James hadn't just been making a few unauthorized withdrawals. He'd been systematically embezzling money from our joint account. He's been transferring large sums of money to an account in Tyler's name, Mike said, sliding a document across the desk. I stared at the paper, unable to comprehend what I was seeing. Money that was supposed to secure both of our children's futures. Money from my inheritance. There's more, Mike continued. We have evidence that James told Tyler this money was a gift for his future. Tyler's been aware of this arrangement for some time. That night, I confronted James. I'll never forget the look on his face when he realized he'd been caught. It wasn't remorse or shame. It was irritation, as though I had inconvenienced him. Tyler needs it more, he said, as if that justified everything. He's closer to college age. And what about Emma's future? I demanded, my voice rising. What have you left for her? James had the audacity to shrug. There's a savings bond in her name. That should be enough. I was speechless, but the betrayal ran deeper than I ever could have imagined. Over the next few days, I uncovered more lies. Friends started reaching out, concerned about things James had apparently been saying about me. He'd been painting me as unstable, unreasonable, a bad mother. And Emma, my sweet Emma, had been caught in the middle. James had been manipulating her, making her keep secrets from me. As the full extent of James and Tyler's deception became clear, I felt a rage I'd never known. Sitting in my car outside the house, a house that no longer felt like home, I made a decision. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. James and Tyler might think they'd won, but they had no idea what was coming. I was done being the victim. It was time to fight back. James had already proven he was willing to lie and steal. I couldn't let him see me coming. The next morning, I called in sick to work and met with Lisa Chen, a divorce lawyer Olivia had recommended. Based on what you've told me, Sarah, we have a strong case for financial fraud, Lisa said, her eyes sharp behind her glasses. But we'll need ironclad evidence. Can you get access to all your financial records? I nodded, determination hardening my resolve. I'll find a way. At home, I played the role of the dutiful wife, pretending I'd moved past my suspicions. James bought it, hook, line, and sinker. I'm glad you've come around, honey, he said one night, kissing my cheek. I knew you'd understand eventually. I forced a smile, bile rising in my throat. Of course, dear, I trust you. Meanwhile, I was gathering evidence like my life depended on it. I reached out to my company's IT department, spinning a story about a personal project. Hey Sarah, chirped Alex, our resident tech whiz. What can I do for you? I'm working on tracking some old transactions for a side gig. I lied smoothly. Any tips on how to trace digital money transfers? Alex's eyes lit up. Oh, I've got just the tools for that. Let me show you. Armed with Alex's tech know-how, I dug deeper into our finances. The more I uncovered, the worse it got. James hadn't just been stealing from me, he'd been cooking the books at his own company too. That night, I anonymously tipped off his company about the embezzlement. This wasn't about revenge, it was about justice. A few days later, all hell broke loose. James came home in a panic, his face ashen. Sarah, we need to talk, he said, his voice trembling. I steel myself. This was it. Yes, we do, James. He launched into a frantic explanation, spinning tales of misunderstandings and mistakes, begging me to help him cover his tracks. But I had heard enough of his lies. Stop, James, I said, my voice cold. I know everything. The money you stole from our account. From my inheritance. The lies you've been telling about me. The way you've manipulated Emma. And now your little embezzlement scheme at work. James's face crumpled. He fell to his knees, grabbing my hands. Sarah, please, I'm so sorry. I'll make it right, I swear. We can fix this together. I pulled my hands away. Fix this? James, you've stolen our daughter's future. You've lied to my face for months. You've tried to turn our friends against me. There's no fixing this. But I love you, he pleaded, tears in his eyes. We can start over. Please just give me another chance. No, James, I said, my voice steady. It's too late for that. We're done. As I walked away, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. The road ahead wouldn't be easy. But for the first time in months, I could see a future where Emma and I were free from the lies and betrayal. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. I remember sitting at the kitchen table, Emma doing homework beside me, when my phone buzzed with a news alert. The headline screamed, "Local accountant under investigation for major fraud." My hands shook as I read the article. Emma looked up, concern in her eyes. Mom, what's wrong? I forced a smile. Nothing, sweetie. Just some work stuff. But I knew I couldn't shield her from the truth for long. Soon, the police got involved, freezing James' assets, and Tyler's too. I filed for divorce that same day, citing financial abuse and fraud. My lawyer, Lisa, was a godsend through it all. We've got him, Sarah, she said, her voice fierce. He won't get away with this. As the truth came to light, our friends and family were stunned. I'll never forget the look on my in-laws' faces when they learned what their son had done. We had no idea, James's mother sobbed. Sarah, we're so sorry. Even Tyler, faced with the reality of his role in his father's schemes, tried to backpedal. One day, he showed up at our door, all his bravado gone. "Sarah, I swear, I didn't know where the money was coming from," he pleaded. I just shook my head. "Save it, Tyler. You're old enough to know right from wrong." The hardest part was telling Emma. We sat her down one evening and I explained as gently as I could about her father's betrayal. "But why, Mom?" she asked, tears streaming down her face. "Why would Dad do this?" I pulled her close. "I don't know, sweetie. But we're going to be okay, I promise." I enrolled Emma in therapy to help her cope with everything. 2 years later, life looks very different. I'm thriving in my career, having earned a promotion last month. Emma, now 12, is excelling in school and has found a passion for soccer. "Mom, did you see that goal I scored?" she yelled, running off the field after a game. I scooped her up in a hug. "I sure did, champ. You were amazing." James is now serving time for his crimes, financially ruined. I've heard through the grapevine that Tyler is struggling, working a minimum wage job and living with his mom. As for me, I feel vindicated, stronger than I ever thought possible. Emma and I have built a stable, loving home, free from the toxic influences of our past. Looking back, I realize that while the betrayal nearly broke me, it also showed me just how resilient I am. Emma and I faced the storm together, and we've come out stronger on the other side. Our future is bright, filled with love, trust, and endless possibilities. And that's a happy ending I never saw coming. Now I have a question for you. If you were in my shoes, would you have given James a second chance? Or do you believe some betrayals are too deep to forgive, even when it comes to family? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences and opinions matter, and they might help someone going through a similar situation. If you found this story engaging, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want to hear more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe. Your support means the world to me and Emma as we continue to share our journey. Remember, sometimes the family we choose is stronger than the one we're born into. Stay strong, and thanks for listening.